Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Keeping up with our book review here on Paleo Cardiologist by Dr. Jack Wolfson. We're in chapter 4 today, so starting to get into more of the details here. This chapter is called Nutrition. Where do we go wrong? So we hit cholesterol, LDL, and then paleo in those first 3 chapters. There's a lot to unpack in this nutrition chapter, as I'm sure you're aware. So I got some notes here. I'll be kind of bouncing back and forth. But essentially, the theme of where do we go wrong is right here. Things we should be avoiding that is so present in our diet: sugar, grain, gluten, dairy, soy, pesticides, artificial ingredients. Sugar, for sure, it's one of the most addictive foods that we eat, and it's in almost everything. Nobody really looks for it. They just kind of eat stuff and don't even worry about it. And anything that breaks down to sugar in your body is having the same effect, causing things like diabetes and pre-diabetics. There was a study here he lists in his book, says if you're listed as pre-diabetic or diabetic, you have a 60% higher risk of heart disease. Holy cow. If that doesn't give you right there, if that doesn't give you motivation to start cleaning up your diet and getting off the sugar, I don't know what will. But a 60% higher increase risk of heart disease with pre-diabetics and diabetics. So some pretty serious stuff. So as we kind of move through the chapter, some of the things he talked about is when you look at regular societies, not regular, historical societies, and people that have not really been inundated with our modern cultures, they are some of the healthiest people in the world. He talks about Greenland Eskimos right here. There's a study done where they followed Greenland Eskimos for 10 years, and they found they had not one death occurring from cardiovascular disease. Not one person in 10 years in this Eskimo society. Now, obviously, there's other things that people may be dying of, traumas and infections and things like that, but it's not from your diet. It's not from obesity. It's not from diabetes. It's not from heart disease, which, if you think about our culture right now, cancer and heart disease are the 2 biggest things people are dying from. So there's obviously a problem with what we're doing here. Let's see. The biggest things he talks about are those sugars and artificial colors and sweeteners. And I think we can wrap our head around sugar. Some people are like grain and gluten and dairy and soy, maybe. They're like, what's the matter with that? Like, why can't I eat that stuff? I'll tell you, me particularly, I don't have a sensitivity to grain and gluten and dairy and soy. I do try to avoid dairy pretty much as possible. My kids have never had a glass of cow's milk. They've had a glass of almond milk or coconut milk, but they've never had a straight glass of cow's milk. Now, they have had yogurt, they have had ice cream, right? The dairy is like a treat. It should be something you do as an extra or a treat, but not all the time. You've seen those got milk commercials, which I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, they had to be stopped because they were liable, because they were telling people to drink milk. And we know that that's not a healthy thing for your body. Somebody says, I'm lactose intolerant. I high-five them. Great job. You're supposed to be. After you stop nursing as a baby, there's no reason for you to have milk again. Not one reason. There's no nutritional value, nothing that's required out of having a glass of milk. And typically, if you're getting milk, it's going to be homogenized and pasteurized, so all the good stuff's killed anyways, and they're just adding in artificial stuff back in. Grain and gluten, obviously, I would say limit it if you can. If you really enjoy eating that stuff, maybe find alternatives. One good recommendation I'd give based off reading the book here is just try it for a little while. Try it like a week of eating raw food or just not eating grain or gluten or dairy or soy or any of that stuff, and see how your body does. If you do great, maybe try to do a little bit more or just change your diet up. If you never try, though, you don't know. So I would at least try it. Pesticides, artificial ingredients, obviously, if you can avoid those, that's the best way to do it. Most of the time, you don't even know what pesticides are in your food. And there are some things linking the grains and the pesticides where there may be a lot of pesticides sprayed on your grains, which is why you get such a sensitivity to those. And the artificial ingredients, always avoid those. Flip your label over, read those, and then if you can't pronounce it, it's a good one, right? Put it down. And just one more thing to wrap up here. I'll give a brief. He gives these 9 things at the back of this chapter. Eat organic and definitely non-GMO. Eat plenty of organic vegetables with every meal. Avoid sugar. Chew your food well so you digest better. No electronics at the table. I thought it was interesting you mentioned that. Make meals a time of relaxation and conversation. That'll be better for your digestion as well. Eat 2/3 raw to 1/3 cooked. I think it's a great suggestion. You should always have something raw on your plate when you eat that's going to help your digestion. Avoid all artificial colors, flavors, and sweeteners. Limit fluid around meals to concentrate your gastric enzymes. Some people, if you're drinking a lot of water and you're not aware, that could be messing with your digestion because it's diluting your enzymes, so you're not able to process quite as well. Eat at home where food can be prepared healthy and it's cheaper. And there you go. Chapter 4 done. Again, I hope you enjoy the review. Next week, tomorrow, chapter 5, One Nation Under Prozac. So start to figure out what's going on there. God bless. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.